And I think that kind of leads me to another topic, which is potential pitfalls you have with background jobs and things that you can do to yourself that are not good if you become too heavily reliant. And one of the things that I'm fighting with now is before you stick something in a background job, make sure you've done reasonable amounts of work to optimize that code first. Because sticking horribly unoptimized, nasty code in a background job because you don't want to deal with it will become problematic over the long haul. I promise you. Because one of the things I'm dealing with now is we've got background jobs that are sucking up tons more memory than anybody can figure out why they should be. But, as we get to looking in the code, it's because it's severely unoptimized. It's old code. And what the old solution was is, hey, just throw more memory at it. Well, that's not a good solution, because as your customer base grows, you'll just keep throwing memory at it and you'll keep occasionally having problems. So, make sure you're paying attention. Don't treat your background jobs as second-class citizens. Make sure you treat them with the same respect that you treat your front-end code, because it does have an impact on your server, on your memory, on your customer experience. It still has an impact, even if it's a background job. So don't just treat that as that's my throwaway can. I don't care about that
dumping
crap.
ground.
Yeah, that's bad news, because it'll come back to haunt you. So what are some other things that you can think of that would be a pitfall that you could get yourself into that you should be careful of with background jobs?
I don't know. I can't think of anything right now. I mean, it's doing it prematurely, having additional overhead with regard to it. I guess I can't. I don't know. Do you have something off the top of your head?
I actually have a couple of.
Because you're the one that's running. You said running into the issues,
right,
so you
yeah.
probably. It's
So
a loaded question.
Here's some things that I will say. One, I know that it is not necessarily frowned upon in the community, but if you've got a large project, don't have background jobs spawn other background jobs and chain background jobs like that, because it turns into an absolute nightmare to try to troubleshoot those things. I mean, unless they're just, so basic that they can't possibly screw up. Like having a complicated job send an email as another job, that could be okay. But don't have a big job spawn another big job. You're gonna.
It's jobception.
Yeah, it turns into a nightmare to troubleshoot. I'm just warning you from my personal experience.
I heard about this from a client I was working with. I wasn't working in the background jobs. I was just doing the database stuff. And they said, oh yeah, this workflow can spawn another workflow, which can spawn another workflow, which can spawn another workflow. And I was just like, so it's just like multiplies like rabbits.
Jobs are not allowed to spawn other jobs. Now, again, there's exceptions to that. If it's very simplistic stuff, maybe have this job send an email off or something, that's fine. But we were having so many problems with that, and it was becoming so difficult to troubleshoot that we actually have a policy now where that is not allowed, period. Because it was a mess. And one of the reasons it was a big mess was the lack of sufficient logging. So,
yeah, I guess that is another danger of background processing, because it is relatively easy with some of these tools, how easy it is to throw something in the queue, to be in a job, there's something else in the queue, and then that job happens to throw something else in the queue, and then that job happens to throw something else. Yeah, it's easy to get into that state, or I've seen that with some clients, that it's easy to get into that state. And it's kind of like, I have to stop myself. I'm like, wait, are we in a background job now? I have to look at the code as like, what I'm working on, is it actually called from is it itself a job or whatever.
Right.
So yeah.
And if you don't effectively herd those cats, you can run into race conditions with your data, and all kinds of weird crap can happen. Which again, I'm saying that because I've experienced those very things several times, and it's just not pleasant to try to troubleshoot that. I'd rather be creating new stuff in the code than trying to figure out where the hell some weird problem is in a background job.
Fix somebody else's crap.
Right, exactly, yeah. I mean, and you know, I get paid for it, so I'll do it, but it's not my favorite thing. And it'd be a lot easier if I had sufficient logging and clearer paths of execution.
If you like this clip and want to watch another one, you can click right here. Or if you want to watch the full video, you can click here.